Why do most businesses fail in the first year? This is ridiculous. Why is it so hard? Now, I admit, I've started some businesses that failed in the first year, but I've also started a business that became successful. My current company I've had for 13 years, so I'm going to teach you what made the difference. Okay, I've actually got 8 different reasons to share with you why businesses fail in the first year. So let's jump right into the first one. And I've talked about this in other episodes, but it's really important. We focus on the wrong things. We focus on looking like a business instead of doing things to make sales and actually be successful as a business. That's a big problem. When we focus on just looking like a business, we're spending our time in the wrong place. We're taking our valuable resource of money and we're putting it towards the wrong things that actually don't bring in a return right then. In the beginning, it's an experiment. We don't know how things are going to go. We don't know if this feature is going to be necessary, if our clients are really going to want it. We just need to put a package together and offer it. We don't even have to have it complete. You can make an offer, and if they say, yeah, I'd love to buy it, then fulfill on it and innovate it and change it and sell it again. Because I've talked about that so much in other episodes, I'm going to move on to point number 2 already. And businesses that fail, I've seen them, and it kind of relates, but they do anything to avoid sales. They say, you know what, I'm not a salesperson, or I'm just not good at sales. Well, then don't expect your business to succeed then. And they might think, well, I'll just hire a rock star salesperson. Yeah, I've heard that many times, and it doesn't work. If you don't know how to sell it first, then there's no way you could hire somebody else to sell it for you, because you're the one that's got the most passion about it. You're the one that believes in it the most. You created it. It's your story. It's actually way easier for you to sell it than somebody who's even an all-star. If you really want to succeed in business, then you've got to take some type of course on sales, or go join a summer sales team or something like that so you can get some sales under your belt. Do some telemarketing, and maybe it's just a fear of sales or a discomfort with sales. So you've just got to do a lot of it. Get out of your comfort zone or expand that comfort zone so that sales is the norm. Now let me take off the pressure a bit, because the sales that I'm talking about is not the pushy sales. You don't have to be a car salesman. When I have a sales conversation, it's like a consultation. Imagine going to a doctor. What does a good doctor do, right? They ask you questions. They try and diagnose. They try and figure out, okay, well, first of all, what symptoms do you have? What's your diet like? What experience have you had? What might have caused this? They might pull out their stethoscope or their ear examination thing and take your temperature. They might do some lab work and stuff like that to really figure out what the problem is. And once they figure that out, then they propose a solution. They say, you know what, I'm going to recommend this medication. I'm going to recommend this regimen, or I'm going to recommend this surgery, or this exercise routine that you need to do, right? Then they provide that solution. That's the best way to do sales. You look at people where they're at, what they're experiencing, what they want to accomplish, and then you can provide a solution to help them solve that. That's what sales is. Okay, let's move on to another 3. And this is a big one. You've probably seen it a lot, but maybe not recognized what people are doing. If you don't create systems, you're more than likely going to fail. Because what happens is people think, well, I've been an employee. I know how to do it. I know my way around this business. I'm going to start my own company. But they wear all of the hats. So they're doing everything from product design to product fulfillment. They're doing the sales, they're doing the human resources, they're doing the custodial jobs, a whole list of jobs that's taking up all their time, making them miserable. Like back when they had a job, they just had to work 8 hours a day and they knew that they were going to expect a paycheck. Now you're doing way more work and there's no guarantee that you're going to make any money. So why do we do it then? Why do we go into business for ourselves? Well, you can create systems and you can have those systems work for you. Some things can be automated, some things you can hire people to run, and eventually you can get to a place where you have way more freedom, you have way more income, way more benefits, right? So there's reasons, but that's why businesses fail, is they put on all the hats and they keep running and running and running until they just fizzle out. They don't have any more energy, they burn out. Number 4, and this was a struggle of mine for a while, is not understanding profit. Okay, so if a business is making this much revenue, and then my expenses add up to here, that's not profit. But I used to think it was. I used to think that if I could cover all my expenses, all the salaries to all my team members, and my own income, I was even paying my money to myself. See, what I did is I paid everything else first, and then if there was money left over that I could pay myself, I thought my own income was profit. But that is not the case, and that is a very stressful way to run a business. I had a financial roller coaster for 8.5 years where some months I'd do great. I'd make 5 figures in a single month, and I thought, okay, this is great. Look how much extra was left over that I could pay myself. But then the next month when I made 0, and the month after that when I made 0, man, that is rough. So what profit really is when you've got this much revenue and all of your expenses, including the amount that you pay yourself, is less than. So now you have profit. You have extra revenue on top of it that you can put into savings. That is profit. Now, just a side tip there. When I was able to make this transition going from this to this, I actually just made the decision, I'm going to pay myself first. Even before I paid all my team. At the time, I probably had 15 or 16 different independent contractors that I was committed to, and I wanted to do everything I could to make sure that they got paid. But I just knew I had to change something because I was basically like the paycheck to paycheck. So I decided I'm going to pay myself first. Then I knew that I was covered. And the interesting thing is, after I made that decision, I've never had to have a problem paying my team, never paying them late, a day late, or anything. Just because I made that decision, I'm going to pay myself first. So I don't know what magic was involved to make that happen. It felt like magic to me, but I just made that decision. I'm going to pay myself first. That's when my savings started to grow. Okay, you've probably heard of shiny object syndrome. If you haven't heard of that, it just means that there's this new marketing device, or there's this new social media app that you've got to be on, or there's this new software that's going to solve all your problems and help you with customer service or sales or whatnot. You're going to get a new one every single week. You're going to have things pitched and promoted to you all the time, and it's a temptation to think, ooh, I'm going to buy this and that's going to solve my problems. Ooh, here's the next one. And we're just switching from one to the next to the next. After a while, as you have more experience in business, as great as it sounds, you know that it's a shiny object, and you just get used to setting it aside. And I even know that, like, you know what? If I go to that event, I know that I'm going to be emotionally tied into something and I'm going to buy something I don't need. So I've intentionally not gone to events for that reason. Or I've gone to events, but only gone to specific sessions that I knew that I needed, and I stayed outside to have conversations with people the rest of the time. You really have to be intentional in that way to not get caught up in getting these shiny objects. Now, as entrepreneurs, we get excited about things. We have this vision and we love to create, and sometimes we start something, but we don't finish because we have another idea and we start something else, and then we start something else. We get into this endless cycle of just creating a whole bunch of things that we don't finish. That's not a way to be successful. You're not going to succeed in your business if you don't finish something. So figure out what you've got to do to stick with something to completion. Now, when we're self-employed, when we're striving to become business owners, there are a lot of things that can distract us because we control our schedule. We don't have a boss like keeping us on task. So our email or social media or YouTube or Netflix or naps, they can all distract us. Working from home is great, and I actually work away from home. I drive to my studio house that's 8 minutes away so that I can be free of distractions. I've had to create systems for myself that can ensure that I don't get distracted, that I can stay on task. Now, the last reason that I'm going to share that I believe is a big reason why a lot of businesses fail is they put a lot of money into temporary branding or temporary marketing and advertising. They spend a lot of money on a certain campaign, and when it doesn't work, now all that money is gone. But on the other hand, you can do organic marketing. You can put effort into things now. Consider a billboard or a radio ad. That's temporary. You can put money into those things. Facebook ads, you put money into it, but once that month is done and that budget is spent, it's gone. But what if you were to create evergreen content? Put some content on YouTube that it's going to get results in the first month, but it's going to be there in month 2. It's going to be there in year 2 and in year 3. Just a little plug for my book, A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube. I teach you how to leverage YouTube to generate leads for your business. This is a strategy that I recommend that will help you be successful in the long run, because the time that you put into this isn't going to disappear after a week. I mean, if you put this amazing post on Facebook and it happens to go viral, a week from now, is it getting more views? What about a month from now? A year from now? I mean, you don't even remember it. On Facebook, you've just got to create a post, and then another one the week later, and another one the week later. And eventually you just got this pile of stuff that never gets heard of and seen from again. Whereas on YouTube, every video that you create is building more and more momentum, so that many years from now, you might have hundreds of videos that are all generating leads for your business. Now, I want to let you know that having a business fail is totally okay. In fact, it's totally okay. Not every idea is a good one, and not every plan that we have is going to work out. let me share a couple quick businesses that I created that failed. I created a business called My Family Artist. I was an artist broker. First of all, there was an artist that did a portrait. I gave her a photo and she turned it into a nice pencil portrait. It looked amazing, so I thought, I bet other people would like to buy these. So I started putting together a team of artists, some that did pencil, some did pastels, some did oil painting, and I would find customers to sell custom portraits to, whatnot. When I actually did the math, I found out that for my time and the price points I put on these things, I was averaging about $2 per hour. So I stopped that business. It was fun, but obviously it wasn't very profitable. Before that, back in my high school days, I created this product. Now, I called them gyro sticks. That was my name, but I've heard other people call them devil sticks or flip sticks or juggling sticks. So you hold two sticks in your hand, and there's a longer one that's got the weights or the tassels on the end, and you can spin it around and do all types of tricks. Well, I learned how to make them. Mine had fiberglass rods. Mine looked amazing. They had like bungee tassels at the end. They were really, really good. I didn't really want to sell or market them, but I found a bike shop that would sell them on consignment. They would just display them for me, and every couple months I'd make a sale. That business really didn't go anywhere because I didn't do all the things that I've shared in here. All right, so I've got a surprise for you. It's actually a gift. I want to give you my book for free. Now, I'm not going to pay for the costs. You need to pay for the costs for me to get this to you, but I don't need to make a dime on it. So if you go to natesyoutubebook.com, I'll put that link in the description below as well. Then as long as you cover the cost for me to get this book to you, this book is my gift to you. So I hope you enjoy.